Hey all, Flip Fisher, bringing you the second half of the 53-man roster projection. Last week I came out with the offensive projection. This week I'm going to come out with the defensive and special teams. Boy, the cutdown day is Saturday. Really jumped out. Bam. Was quite surprised. I was thinking it was a few more days away. So what we're going to go over tonight is we're going to go over the defensive and the special teams, but then I'm also going to go over the entire roster. So let's jump right into it. Defensive linemen, I think we're going to keep 6. Cam Hayward, no brainer. Tuitt, Alualu, all projections have him playing nose tackle. I think that's a terrible idea, but we'll see. Chris Wormley, who we got via trade with Baltimore. I like Wormley, but he's only a 2-down thumper. Brings no pass rush to the game. And he'll only, probably back up either Tuitt or Cam. Don't want to see him at nose tackle. I do have the team keeping Daniel McCullers. A lot of people don't like Shade Tree, but he is what it is, Until the Steelers actually draft somebody decent to take his spot, he's going to stay there. And that is not Davis, the rookie out of Nebraska, who I, have seen a lot of tape on. And the final guy is Isaiah Buggs. I like our depth, except for at nose tackle. I just don't like our nose tackle position. I really would love to have a true nose tackle. And people are going to say, well, how often are we really truly in a base 3-4 with a nose tackle? I don't know, 20-30%? It's still a lot. I think we're really going to miss Gravedigger. But, we just couldn't afford him. He was too expensive. Let's hop to the outside linebackers. This just kind of got a little more interesting. The Steelers decided, the rumor has it that Tuzar Skipper is not going to make the team. That's actually a surprise because of how thin we are at both linebacker positions. And we generally keep 5. Well, here's where I'm going to come on and say this already. Bud Dupree, TJ Watt locks either side. Ola Adeniji, people like Ola way more than his abilities. Ola is a pretty headsy player, but he just lacks physicality. I did some film study on him his rookie year, and I liked what he saw, but boy, he was out of control. He just was not very good athletically. And I saw the same thing last year. Rookie Alex Highsmith, big unknown. How much did he even see during the training camp? We don't hear anything coming out of camp. Well, honestly, there's not a 5th linebacker. There's not a 5th outside linebacker. So I really think the 5th outside linebacker is going to become via trade or waiver pickup. Generally, you always see the Steelers run with 5. So that's why I'm going to go out on a limb and say that 5th one is currently not on the team. And I think they're also going to probably pick one up for the taxi squad or practice squad. Sorry, too much fantasy football on the brain there with the practice squad. Or sorry, the taxi squad. So inside linebackers, only going to keep 4. Devin Bush, who I was against moving up for him. He was okay. He got beat up on some pass rush last year, or some pass coverage last year. Wasn't spectacular, but wasn't bad against the run. My buddy Vince Williams, love seeing him making $7 million this year. I'm just gonna leave it there. Ulysses Gilbert. I don't understand why people are so high on Gilbert. It just baffles me. I mean, what has he done? How are people absolutely impressed with a guy who had no defensive snaps last year, and on a 6th-round pedigree with the small size? He's under 230. The last guy I have making it is Robert Spillane, and I have not gone back and looked at his preseason from last year. He did spend time on the active roster, but he was waived. But he was also waived from the practice squad. I mean, this is just atrocious depth at both linebacker spots. I mean, my gosh. We have 2 inside linebackers with a lot of playing. Well, a solid amount of playing time. I'll give Bush a solid amount for getting a year under his belt, but nobody else. Does anybody really want Ola or Highsmith out there replacing Dupree or Watt? Those guys can't play 90% of downs. Too much work. So let's get into the cornerbacks. Joe Hayden, I took heat for beating on Joe Hayden. I beat on how much money Joe Hayden makes. Joe Hayden is generally an average cornerback who had a very good year last year, above average. Not going to call it a great year, but I'm going to call it above average. Steven Nelson, who I think is just on the outside of the top 10 cornerbacks in the league. Really, really like him. He's going to make some big money next year. Hopefully they sign him to an extension as well. Mike Hilton, who I think is going to be his last year with the Steelers, definitely playing the nickel corner. I don't understand why people get all down on him. He's definitely not the best, but he's absolutely not the worst nickel corner. And they really enjoy, talking up Cam Sutton. But Sutton's entering his 4th year and really has not done a whole lot. He's had some gift interceptions thrown his way. I mean, right to him. I don't get excited about players that get gifts like that. But he is the 4th. Justin Lane, who, 3rd-round pick last year that we did not see. I don't think he saw the field on defense last year. I've watched some highlights of him in college, and it must have been kind of an odd tape because I was not impressed. I thought it was kind of a bit of a low light tape of his. Again, I don't want to see him on the field. I'm perfectly fine having him percolate another year and see what we get out of him. I will say I think he is the first outside corner off the bench. I do not see Cam Sutton as an outside cornerback. Safety, 5 of them. Terrell Edmonds. A lot of people are down on him. I like his run stopping. He's still a step behind in coverage at times. I don't see him as an absolute terrible liability. Minka Fitzpatrick, who I like Mink. I wasn't real thrilled about the trade until I ate plenty of crow on that. I thought we were going to get a top 10 pick. The defense drugged that pathetic offense all over the field for 16 weeks. Well, 14 weeks, whatever you want to call it. those two are I think, just going to get better. I would like to see Mink more involved in coverage, which he was not so much last year. Jordan Dangerfield, special teamer. Yeah, definitely don't want to see him starting. And that's where Antonio Brooks Jr. might come into play. And XFL cast off Curtis Riley. You just. This is just like our linebacker position. Just no depth. No depth whatsoever. I mean, raise your hand if you want to see Brooks or Dangerfield or even Curtis Riley making 10 starts next year. Wow, that'd make a billy goat puke. Special teamers, Cam Kennedy, long snapper. I would like to see him replaced just because he's got a big fat salary. He's making like, I don't know, 1.8, 2.1 million, something like that. Some crazy salary for a long snapper. Boswell had a huge bounce back year. Hopefully he continues that. We definitely need him again this year. A punter, I'm going to say this right now. A punter, it's kind of like our fifth outside linebacker position. I don't think our punter's on our team right now. Just because Barry carries right at 1.8 million salary cap hit, and we seriously need to make some space. Unfortunately, doing this 53 man roster projection, it's just been so vanilla. I mean, we get nothing out of camp. From we get the 4 pool reporters each day. But they have to clear everything through the Steelers. And, Mike Tomlin has become Bill Belichick, where he doesn't say anything. Useful, meaningless. Everything is just vanilla out of him. So here comes the full roster. And I'll make some comments through it again. Big Ben Roethlisberger and Mason Rudolph. I'm going to tell you, if this would have been a normal offseason, I would have loved to have seen Devlin Hodges step up and go toe to toe with Mason Rudolph. I think the biggest thing holding him back has been his mechanics, but I just don't think he had the opportunity this year to work on his mechanics. Running backs, Connor, Snell, McFarland. I am going to go with Kareth White just because I think he's a better third down back than Jalen Samuels. Now, people are going to say, whoa, you're nuts. Jalen Samuels is a great pass catcher. Yes, he is. But there's more to being a third down back as far as blitz pickup, cutting off your patterns, and so forth, reading the defenses. And I think I just don't think Jalen Samuels excels there. Fullback, yeah, we got Derek and his $2 million Watt. That's supposed to be, big stallion, hurt, of course. Wide receivers, Juju, Washington, Deontay Johnson, who I'm really starting to really like. Chase Claypool. I'm not going to buy into the hype. Everybody can hype that all they want. I want to see him, on the field. I would prefer not seeing him on the field this year because that would probably mean injuries. I'm going to go with Deion Kane, and I'm going to go with Ryan Switzer. I know people don't like Ryan Switzer, mainly because of his special teams, but they also beg on him for being in the slot. Well, we probably won't see too much of him. Would I be surprised if Switzer didn't make the team? No, I would not be one bit surprised. There's just nobody really worth anything behind him. And he's the only veteran presence. Tight ends, we got McDonald, Ebron, Gentry. You know, I was not a big fan of Ebron coming in. I thought it was a luxury that we really just didn't need to spend the cap space on. Gentry, I'll never like him. Just he is absolutely a 43-year-old Jesse James. That's really what he is. Very slow, very unathletic. You get what you get with him. I think he's got some good hands to him, but that's really about it. Along the line, I'll say AV. I'm gonna say Matt Filer at right tackle. I'm still gonna keep beating that drum. Chooks, the Okorafor, Zach Banner, backups. I do expect Chooks to be the swing tackle. David DeCastro, of course, at right guard. Steven Wisniewski at left guard with Filer at right tackle. And Kevin Dotson, I'm still not really positive about his injury situation. I need to read up on that. But he would also make it. Pouncey being the center. And J.C. Hassenauer being the backup center. Now, why I'm going with so many centers, with two actual centers there, is because we can. Because of how the game day rules are. Plenty of articles out there about that. And so there it is. We got, I went through the defense. There's the offense. I don't want to see, I'm terrified to see injuries at a number of positions. Do I really feel, I like our wide receivers, but boy, they're just so young. Just so young. And, nothing we can do about Big Ben is just cross our fingers. And that's why I want Filer to stay at right tackle. He was arguably the best lineman last year. At times, at most of the year, I thought he was better than Dede was. Now, that being said, our defense just has no depth to it. Besides the, corners, there's some depth there, but it's also unproven. Once you get past, can Sutton play on the outside? I really don't think so. And Lane has not played on the outside. Our linebackers, God, just no depth. That is so scary. Think if Devin Bush goes down. I mean, what happens? Who takes his spot? Spillane? Do they get all crazy and move Highsmith? I don't know. I that's why I would really like to see us make a trade for an outside linebacker at least, or even an inside linebacker. I know we don't have any cap space, so it's got to be somebody cheap. So there it is. There's my projection, and we'll see what happens come tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow by 2 or 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm not positive on which it is. So let me know in the comments section what you think. Am I totally off base? Am I too vanilla? Yeah, I am too vanilla, and I'll admit it. But I think a lot of these undrafted guys just don't stand a chance. All right. Well, this has been Flip Fisher. Thanks all. What I will be doing is coming out with a show on Saturday night. Probably do a live stream, actually, of where our 53-man roster sits. All right. Thanks all. Be sure to subscribe. Smash that bell to get notified when I put up some content. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Hey, I'm perfectly fine if you give me a thumbs down too. All right. Laters.